Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So last week we talked about some of the things that were going on lately, including smoking weed, and we talked about some situations or triggers that you've been going through. I thought today we could look a little more closely at those situations. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you think of a recent time when you smoked?
Mm, Earlier today,
What was going on before you decided to smoke?
mm, I woke up. I was sleeping, then I woke up.
So what were you thinking about at the time?
How long my day's gonna be and how stressful it's gonna be.
And what were you feeling?
Mm,
If you can't identify a feeling, that's okay. Um,
what was I feeling? I was feeling like tired and stressed already.
So when you so you were feeling tired, you were feeling stressed, and you were thinking you just woke up and you were thinking how long your day is going to be when you decided to smoke. What does smoking do for you?
Um, it calms me down.
So that makes sense. So for you, smoking helps you relax. And I just want you to know I'm not here to judge you or tell you how you're supposed to feel. I just want to understand what you're getting from it. So one thing we've been working on is noticing the connection between what happens when we think and feel and what we do afterwards. So if you don't mind, if you don't mind, can we take a look at what just happened, if that's okay?
Say that again?
Do you mind if we look at what just happened in that situation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So looking at this situation, smoking helped you relax in the moment. What happened afterwards?
I was relaxed. I didn't really do much. I was ready to start my day.
So you didn't get in trouble at all, or there was no consequence or anything that had occurred after that? Did you just in terms of no?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So there's something about smoking that works for you in the moment. But there can also be a consequence afterwards. What do you think could give you some of the same um feelings without causing some of the problems? What do you think could help you relax instead of without causing these problems?
I need medication, I guess.
You need medication.
Or
So you
maybe
think
doing some like, I don't know, like really just trying to be mentally relaxed myself, just trying to relax myself without it.
so what are some ways that you can try to relax? Is there any ideas that you have? Some people listen to music. I know music helps me calm down. Some people watch their favorite shows. Some people go, for a walk and stuff like that. Some people write. I know some people who play solitaire to help them relax. I personally don't do that, but do any of those sound appealing to you?
I like to watch my favorite shows and I like to, I guess, listen to music is good. I could do that.
Okay. So this isn't saying I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm not saying, obviously you have your individual choice, but you know, um, what are some things you could do next time you're feeling like stressed out, overwhelmed by everything and thinking about how long your day is?
Um, I think that instead of that, I guess I can like turn on my TV and just like watch something that I like to like kind of set my day.
That's really great that you're able to think of that, just something that you can cope with besides smoking. Obviously, I'm not saying you have to stop smoking, but the goal of this session is to just think of some alternatives that you can do. Um, And I'm not expecting everything to suddenly change overnight. It's not like I'm telling you to quit. It's not like I'm saying you have to do this. Obviously, change happens over time. Um, the goal the goal of brainstorming all these things is so you don't have one thing you mainly do when you're stressed out and overwhelmed and stuff like that. It's good to have, a variety of things, that help you relax and calm down, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've also had just bringing up some of your history. Do you mind if we talk about some of your history real quick or?
I don't mind.
Okay. So from the past couple sessions, we've talked about your relationship with your mom, and you've talked about having to adjust to a foster home and stuff like that. You've had to figure out ways to handle a lot of changes. What do you think has helped you through some of those changes?
I think um I think that even though I fight and even though I like to smoke and things like that, I still think that like I just sometimes I have to fight because I have to. It's because I'm in foster care, right? So everybody just like blames me for it, but they don't know what I go through. And that doesn't make me who I am. So I still think that I'm a good person. And I don't know, like, I think that I can do a lot of different things that can help my situation better. But sometimes it's like my back against the wall,
Yeah.
like sometimes it gets so stressful that my back is against the wall. And yeah, sure, I can turn on the music, but what if my foster parent doesn't want me to listen to music as loud as I want, Or
Hmm.
what if somebody else is watching the TV? Then what am I gonna do?
No, I
Like
understand.
it's
I
easy to
understand what you're
say,
saying.
but it's hard. It's not easy.
No, I understand. Again, I'm not saying you have to do any of these things. These are just, we're just brainstorming some different things. Obviously I understand, all these things that you all like the situations and the different dynamics you're dealing with in the foster home. I completely understand, and I'm not saying you have to do these things. The purpose of, meeting, going over things is just to, um brainstorm some alternatives. But I completely understand your perspective about, having different dynamics in the home, the facts that, they might not want you to listen to music as loud as you want, or, they might be watching the TV. That's completely understandable. But, just having more than one alternative besides those two things, or those just different alternatives is a good um is something that works for me, and I know it's worked for other people before. But I'm not saying this so you have to do this. This is just an alternative that we can utilize. But obviously it's your choice to use them or not, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That
Um,
makes sense.
so what I'm hearing is that you have so one thing that's gotten you through all these situations is, the facts that you believe you're a good person, and the facts that you kind of you have a lot of determination when it comes to different things, and you feel, a lot of it seems like you see a lot of resilience within yourself. That's a great strength to have. You learn how to adapt fairly well. I think it's great. What we're doing right now in this session is building on that and finding some coping strategies that work for you. On top of, in continuation with the smoking, if that makes sense. Just
Hmm.
something alternatively. Um, before we wrap things up today, I just wanted to talk briefly about um what you're taking away from today's session, or what we
So
talked about today.
I do I didn't even think that I was resilient, but I once you said it, I was like, I definitely feel that way, that I am
Hmm.
strong, that I am resilient,
Hmm.
because it's hard to go through what I go through. And that there's other ways that I can deal with things instead of doing things that are not appropriate for my age. So I definitely understand that. And that's exactly what I got from this session today.
It's great that you were able to, spot positive things about yourself. It's great that you're able to cope and adapt to different situations, and I like to commend you for that. It's really difficult going through some of the situations, and it's great. You know, during this week, you know, if you want, if you, this, you don't have to do this, but this is just something you can do, you know, take count, or maybe think about what is going on before you smoke, or what you feel. You know, obviously you mentioned, you know, you woke up one day and you were feeling stressed out and overwhelmed with how long the day is going to be, but you know, if is that always there's it's just take the sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Try to keep track of the different feelings and the different thoughts you have before smoking, if that makes sense. And you know, if you would like to think of some of the different ways that you can, you know, find healthy alternatives. You know, we mentioned some things here and there, but you know, obviously there's a variety of different things we can do. You know, it's not limited to those two things. You don't, again, you don't have to do this. I understand your situation. I understand the dynamic you're dealing with, but if you want to take the time and just kind of, you know, think of some alternatives, I think that would be great for you. But obviously, again, this is your choice. You know, I'm working to collaborate with you. It's nothing that I'm saying you have to do. This isn't like a do this, you know, I'm saying this is a suggestion that I have for you for a healthy choice, you know. I'm glad that
Mhm.
you were able to take away stuff from this session today. And I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.